This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so October the 8th at the O2 Arena. Live and exclusive on DAZN pay-per-view. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Now, my initial reaction to this fight is a little bit stunned because I don't really know what to think about it. Obviously, they're both, for their entire careers, have been saying how they want to make their own name, they want to get out of their father's shadows, they're not their fathers and all that kind of stuff, and here they are fighting each other. Reason being they're fighting each other is because of their fathers fought each other on 2 occasions. That's why they're doing it. But my initial reaction to this one, and I will break down the fight a little bit closer to the time, but for now, my initial reaction, without thinking about it too much, is Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan. Dimitri Bivol versus Canelo Alvarez. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin versus Kell Brook. Vasily Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux. Errol Spence Jr., Mikey Garcia. That's my initial reaction. Too big, too strong. That's kind of how I initially think of it. And I have seen a clip of Conor Benn saying how he believes he can be the first person to stop Chris Eubank Jr. And fighters need saving from themselves. If something bad happens to Conor Benn in this fight, Eddie Hearn and his team need to take the blame on this one because they've cashed him out. That's what they've done. A boxer will fight anybody. A fighter will fight anybody. But the people around them need to save them from themselves. It is. Now, as far as it being pay-per-view, neither one of them have been a world champion. But I mean, Chris Eubank Jr., of course, he has become British champion before. And for those of you who put any kind of stock into the IBO, he was IBO super middleweight world champion. Conor Benn, he's never won a belt. I mean, he's won trinket belts, but he's never won a British. He's never won an English even. They won a Commonwealth, a European, or even on the brink of a world. And who's he beaten? I see this right now as a bit of a mismatch. And I'm not saying that because to hate on the fight or anything like that. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. I'm going to be watching it and it will be morbid curiosity. It will be. But at the same time, I do worry for Conor Benn in this fight. I do worry for him. The saving grace that initially pops to my mind for Conor Benn is that Chris Eubank Jr. gets lazy in fights. Starts showboating and flashing around. If Chris Eubank Jr. takes his fight serious and puts it on him with the intention of stopping him and doesn't showboat, I think Conor Benn could be in a whole world of trouble. It could be. Conor Benn's not exactly a big welterweight. And the weight difference between them is that Conor Benn is a natural welterweight, Chris Eubank Jr. is a natural middleweight. So there's actually 2 weight class difference. And at one time, Chris Eubank Jr. was fighting a super middleweight. I said Conor Benn is not exactly a big welterweight. He doesn't walk around as a big guy who has to drain himself each and every fight that much. Now, of course, it is a catch weight and whatever else. And again, I am interested to the British Boxing Board of Control's reaction to this because, as far as I understood it, they don't agree with catch weights. They only sanction fights as long as 2 fighters are in a legitimate weight class. Because obviously we've seen things happen before. Notably, Chris Eubank Jr.'s dad. We also saw what happened with Michael Watson and things like that. So the last thing in the world the British Boxing Board of Control want to do is sanction a fight like this in case something happens. Listen, I don't want to pour cold water on this fight. That's the last thing in the world I want to do. But listen, we know what it is. It's a cash grab. It's disappointing from one perspective, from a true boxing fan's perspective, because I want to see Chris Eubank Jr. make a gun for the titles at middleweight. I want to see Conor Benn go as far as he can. This is the kind of fight they should be having at the end of their career, if that makes sense. I'm not against a fight, just not right now would be my preference. It would. But as I said, I'll watch it, you guys will watch it, and that's the whole aim of it. That's why they've done it, isn't it? They are doing it because of their fathers. They are. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this fight so far. As I said, I'll break it down a little bit better toward fight night. Maybe I'll change my mind on it all. Maybe. I'll have to wait and see. Maybe Conor Benn, maybe he could just go in there and absolutely destroy him. But we'll see. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video.